See, I told you not to panic. I'm just bouncing and verify that we're running. We're alive. Well, in a fashion, maybe. I'm not even going to go there. I don't even want to think about that. But we're talking dApps. Okay, look, at this point in the course, um, we're talking less and less about NFTs and tokens and blockchain and stuff. In fact, what was the one I just was listening to? Well, I was listening to Hedra. So that's one that's coming on the radar pretty as a beep, beep, beep. Keep an eye on and consider what is it? What's the value proposition? Regardless, it could be many other tokens too, I'm sure. What we're finding already, I mean, before we've even gone mainstream with Web3 technology, already it's mutating and altering. Uh, so, which means a real opportunity for consultants, right? Because it's not a pretty sight to people that aren't like geeky about this. Are you a otaku geek? Otaku geek, that sounds fun. Say that 5 times fast. Otaku geek, otaku geek, otaku. I can't. I'll have to work on it. So you can do it? Wow. Okay. So yeah, I've been thinking about Beanie and Cecil a lot lately too, but that's a wholly other story. So dApps, swarms of agents acting as robots, and really, it still comes back to oh, I lost it. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter. It'll come back or not. Phew, this is huge. Yeah, not multiverse. I mean, yes, there's multiverses, but really we want to talk about metaverses. And if you don't know what that is, go ask your mother. Well, we're talking about can we live in some kind of virtual sense, which is wow. Now we're at cyberspace. It's just when cyberspace got coined back in the late 80s, this isn't what we were thinking. But that's okay. It's cool enough. I mean, I've been interested in virtual reality since mid 90s, and yeah, I was mentioning Ring of Fire and their Alpha World. Alpha World, I would think, is the first virtual reality system application. And I doubt they lasted, but I put a lot of effort into it. I made it a skywalk way, so if people came across it, I mean that was about all you could do then, is just build things, kind of like a sandbox. But I built the skyway that if somebody stumbled upon it, they could go up and do it, and you would be what you could do is the z-axis. You could be like virtual, say 100 feet up, and put down things that as an avatar. And I think in those days, well, in those days, unlike with World of Warcraft, where you probably have gravitated to kind of a third person view of your character, your avatar, to move it around effectively. Because part of the problem of lack of parallax and 360 degree for if you're just acting as if you're looking through the eyes of the avatar, which you can do too, you can zoom in and out, but you have a hard time seeing or being aware of things that are out of your vision, right? So anyhow, so I'm laughing because you gotta laugh or cry, right? Things are moving so fast, and before Web3 technology has even become mainstream, it's mutated into something else, and it keeps doing it every day. Like I said, every day I find a new rabbit hole. Every day I work on digging rabbit holes deeper, but every day I seem to find a new rabbit hole. And if you're not careful, you can get easily get sucked into it. So here we are in a metaverse. We'll call it sand for the sandbox, right? I don't favor sandbox. I don't think they're going to win out, but they're a player. Um, Again, there's dozens of players. That's why I say 3 to 5, especially because if in the end there can be only one, if one like what happens as markets mature, one comes forward as being a monopoly, sure we'll be ready. you know. Um, so yeah, we have these fun centers. So there's some place that. Oh yeah, the other thing on Alpha World was I made an elaborate maze. Kind of a stone wall maze thing. Somebody could come across the labyrinth and have fun just going through it. Um, I think that's about all. No, no, I had a home or something where you could put things on there that would help you interact. It kind of like well, you could do it. So you click on the things and it'll take you to a website. Anyhow, like I said, that was pre-internet. Well, pre-internet as you know it, and certainly before the web. But that's then when once HTML became mainstream, people like me were starting to talk about VRML, using the web to render 3D virtual worlds. So that was one more programming language that I learned. Might still be valid. It's been years since I've checked in on where the evolution of VRML is. But anyhow, where it's taken us is to the metaverse. Yeah, what were those questions? Can you remind me what those questions were? We come into our cybernauts spelunk. I like that. Into a new to us, uh, metaverse. And some of the first questions we want to ask is, um, would probably be before the fun center because we could, if even if this is all we could do, we could send probes. So we want to ask, can we make autonomous robots that can live or be operate or be active? If you start getting too confused with the concepts and stuff, come back to a machine. Ultimately, we're saying, can we make a machine that we can launch and it'll basically be autonomous and be a fun thing that runs within this metaverse, maybe become popular. And one of the applications right off the bat I can think of is like a billboard, like a traveling billboard. Maybe even like version 3 or something, a traveling billboard that is aware enough of the metaverse around it that it can detect other players or other avatars, other people. It can detect people that are in that cyberspace and like go to them, right? Make a pitch, give them a commercial, maybe be like organ grinder with their monkey or clown. Oh, I like clowns. We'll be very big in clowns. I'll just say here, clown world. So that's what fascinates me and was really driving me and just thinking one step beyond, maybe more than one step. So if we can do that, well, okay, here we go again. God dang it. Like, darn interpret your own mind. Because then I think, well, if we can do that for us, once again, we've just created a machine we can sell. Because if we can do it for ourselves, it's not a hard leap to selling it as a product or as a system, if you want to go subscription or membership or whatever, but as a product. Like I said, I'd rather go keep us isolated from our previous productions enough that we think in terms of shipping a shrink wrap box product and not make it a service or a club or a community or whatever. I mean, that we'll have that too, but that'll be for more internal usage. What we want, because again, we're talking the ebook download phenomenon. Once and when we get to boilerplates and VM images, we will, well, I want to say we could crank these things out at any volume um, at almost no cost. Very little cost to you. Um, and that's very exciting. That excites me. As an innovative entrepreneur, that excites me no end. Putting together I'm putting together a team of cybernauts, those that are willing to spend most of their time in the cyberspace. And beyond that, we'll do quests and projects and all kinds of things. So if we can do that, I mean, that alone is a fortune, limitless fortune, because we could become a standard within online marketing and advertising and keep it from becoming banner blindness. We could even have an automata um, clickbait. If you don't know what those are, go ask your mother. But these are all entrepreneur techniques that can monetize and make a lot of money. There's no such thing as a free lunch. Sorry, please, thank you. So, yes, there's a cost. The best we could hope for is kind of a calculus in your business plan and your income statements, your ROI projections. Um, think in terms of calculus, which the magic of calculus is the calculus formulas move towards zero, but they never achieve zero. So kind of like Bitcoin, one of the big powers is you don't have to think and like you'd think of $1 or something. You don't have to think in terms of one Bitcoin. It's highly flexible because you can take it many, 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 many decimal places out and still have in US dollars or something, exchange a penny. I'm not sure what a Satori is supposed to go for, but a Satori is supposed to be kind of like a quarter or a penny. It's supposed to be a very small part of a Bitcoin, especially because of predicting how high Bitcoin will go up. Um, but here you've got this much smaller unit that you can exchange, and you're exchanging Bitcoin, but you talk in terms of a Satoshi. So that for like a website or an exchange, and for example, would allow them to say, well, this is going to cost you 3 Satoshi, right? There you go. Why Satoshi? Because that's supposed to be the unknown anonymous person that started the whole Bitcoin thing with a white paper. These things usually, see, that's the other thing. I haven't considered that quite a bit. I need people that can create white papers because that's how these projects start. Somebody writes a white paper and then throws it against the wall and sees if it sticks or not. And everything else results from that. So that's the professional way to do it. I'm sorry. Have I mentioned that I would not be surprised if I die of throat cancer? Oh well. Don't get me started on this stuff because I don't want to talk about it right now. Because I want to talk about robots, which that is just 15 minutes. Just a shade. Can't I at least edit these enough to shave off the end?